You walked into the kitchen for something. You stood there, 3 full seconds, and it was gone. You laughed it off. You always do. But what if I told you that moment had nothing to do with your brain? Because in March of this year, researchers at Stanford University published a study in Nature, one of the most prestigious scientific journals on the planet. They weren't looking at brain cells. They weren't studying neurons. They were studying the gut. And what they found changes everything we thought we knew about memory loss after 60. That moment of forgetting didn't start in your head. It started somewhere else entirely. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly where, exactly why, and exactly what to eat to fight back. Here is what the Stanford team discovered. Inside your digestive system, running from your gut all the way up to your brainstem, there is a nerve. Scientists call it the vagus nerve. And this nerve is the primary highway between your gut and your memory center. Every single day, your gut sends hundreds of signals up that highway to your brain. Most people have no idea this is even happening. But here is what changes after the age of 60. Certain bacteria that were rare in your younger years, begin to multiply inside your gut. As they grow, they release compounds that inflame the walls of your intestine. That inflammation creeps into the highway. The signal gets distorted. Your gut keeps sending messages, but your brain stops receiving them clearly. And when that signal goes quiet, the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for forming new memories, begins to struggle. That is what the Stanford research found. Not a broken brain, a broken connection. Now, I want to be clear about 3 things before we go any further. First, this is not inevitable. The Stanford team proved the connection can be restored. Second, there are 5 specific foods that directly target this exact mechanism. And I am going to show you all 5 today. Third, and this is the one I want you to remember, food number 5 is not what you would expect. It does something the other 4 cannot do alone. I will explain exactly what that is when we get there. But first, you need to understand what is actually happening inside your gut right now, because without this piece, the foods won't fully make sense. Let me give you a picture. When you were young, your gut was like a thriving, diverse garden. Hundreds of different species of bacteria living in balance, producing vitamins, neutralizing harmful compounds, regulating inflammation, and sending clean, clear signals up to your brain. Diversity was the key word. The more diverse the garden, the more resilient it was. But after 60, that garden starts to change. The diversity drops. Certain species that used to be held in check begin to take over. Scientists call this state dysbiosis, a microbial imbalance. And a 2025 review published in the journal Frontiers in Aging confirmed that this shift is directly connected to what researchers call inflammaging, a slow, low-grade fire that burns inside your body for years, often without any outward symptoms, and that your standard blood tests may never detect. This fire reaches the gut wall. It makes it more porous. Inflammatory molecules begin crossing into your bloodstream. They travel up. They reach the brain. Now here is the part that moved me when I first read this research. A woman I want to tell you about. Her daughter wrote to us after watching one of our earlier videos. She said her mother had been forgetting words for 2 years. Small things at first. Names of neighbors, the ends of sentences. Then larger things. Her doctor called it normal aging. Her mother believed him. She stopped expecting better. Then her daughter found this research. Changed 3 things about her mother's diet. Within 6 weeks, and these are her daughter's words, her mother started finishing her sentences again. I cannot promise you the same result. Every person is different. And you should always speak with your doctor about your own health. But the Stanford researchers, studying aging mice with the same pattern of gut-driven cognitive decline, found something remarkable. When they restored the gut-brain signal, the aging mice became sharp again, curious again, exploratory again. The researchers wrote this in their conclusion, and I want you to hear it. These results suggest that cognitive decline in aging is not a purely brain-intrinsic process, and that restoration of gut-brain communication can improve memory formation even in significantly aged subjects. Not slow it down, not manage it, improve it. That is what is possible. And it starts with what you eat. 5 foods. Each one targets a different part of this mechanism. Together, they form what I think of as the gut-brain repair protocol. Pay particular attention to food number 5. Because food 5 does something none of the others do on their own. It does not just support the gut. It directly addresses the damage that lets inflammation reach your brain in the first place. That distinction matters more than anything else in this video. Let's start with number 1. Food number 1, fermented foods. This is your gut's most direct rebuilding tool. Fermented foods, plain yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, are rich in live bacteria called probiotics. A clinical trial from Stanford, published in the journal Cell in 2021, found that people who ate fermented foods daily for 10 weeks significantly increased the diversity of their gut bacteria and reduced measurable inflammatory markers in their blood. Remember the word diversity. The more diverse your gut, the harder it is for the inflammatory species to take over. One essential note, not all fermented foods count equally. For your gut-brain connection, you need live cultures. That means yogurt that says live active cultures on the label. Unpasteurized sauerkraut or kimchi, because pasteurization kills the very bacteria you are trying to add. Start simple. 2 to 3 tablespoons of plain sauerkraut alongside lunch, or a half cup of plain kefir in the morning. That is the dose. Food number 2, dark leafy greens. You have heard eat your greens 1,000 times. Here is what you have not heard. Dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard are loaded with prebiotic fiber. And prebiotics are what your good gut bacteria eat. If probiotics are the soldiers in your gut garden, prebiotics are the food that keeps them strong and multiplying. But there is a second reason these greens belong on this list, and this one goes straight to memory. A study published in the journal Neurology followed 960 older adults over 10 years. Those who ate just 1 serving of leafy greens per day had the cognitive performance of someone 11 years younger than those who ate none. 11 years, 1 serving. The researchers pointed to folate, vitamin K, and lutein, all concentrated in dark greens, as the compounds most strongly associated with slowing cognitive decline. Half a cup of cooked spinach in a morning omelet, a handful of arugula on top of whatever you are already eating for dinner. That is it. Food number 3, quercetin-rich foods. Quercetin is a natural compound found in apple skin, red onions, capers, and dark berries. Here is why it matters. Scientists classify quercetin as a senolytic compound, meaning it belongs to a family of substances studied for the ability to target what researchers call senescent cells, or what some scientists have started calling zombie cells. These are old, damaged cells that have stopped functioning properly, but have not cleared themselves out. They sit in your tissues, including your gut lining, and release a steady stream of inflammatory signals. That chemical output is one of the main drivers of inflammaging, and one of the reasons the gut-brain signal degrades over time. Quercetin has been studied alongside other compounds in clinical trials at the Mayo Clinic for its role in reducing this kind of cellular inflammation. The dietary sources of quercetin, particularly apple skin and red onions, provide meaningful amounts of this compound as part of a broader anti-inflammatory diet. Keep the skin on your apple. Use red onions instead of white. Add capers to your salad or eggs. These are small changes, but they add up. Food number 4, green tea. Specifically, the compounds inside it called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG does 2 things that are directly connected to the mechanism we have been discussing. First, it supports autophagy. That is your body's natural cellular cleanup process. Think of it as your cell's housekeeping crew, clearing out damaged proteins and internal debris that accumulates in the gut wall as we age. Second, multiple peer-reviewed studies have shown that EGCG reduces the inflammatory chemical output from senescent cells. Less of that chemical output means a cleaner gut environment. A cleaner gut environment means clearer signaling up the vagus nerve to your brain. 2 cups of plain green tea per day, no sugar. If caffeine is a concern, decaffeinated green tea retains meaningful levels of EGCG. Food number 5 is the one I told you to wait for. The others rebuild, feed, support cellular cleanup, and reduce inflammation. This one seals. And without this step, the inflammation can keep finding its way through. Food number 5, extra virgin olive oil. This is the foundation that makes the other 4 work better. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal. Research published in ACS Chemical Neuroscience found that oleocanthal reduced neuroinflammation and supported the integrity of the blood-brain barrier in animal studies. This is early-stage research, primarily in animal models, but the anti-inflammatory properties of olive oil are among the most consistently supported findings in nutritional science. What makes olive oil particularly relevant here is its effect on the gut lining itself. Reviews published in Nutrition Reviews found that extra virgin olive oil polyphenols influence gut microbiome composition in ways that support the gut-brain axis. The practical dose is 2 tablespoons a day, drizzled over your vegetables, used in cooking at low to medium heat. That is it. Now I want to give you one more piece of this, because it connects everything we have covered, and it points towards something I want you to come back for. The vagus nerve. We have mentioned it several times today, but I want you to really understand what it is, because it is not just a detail, it is the entire mechanism. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your body. It begins at your brainstem and travels all the way to your colon, branching into your heart, your lungs, and your entire digestive tract along the way. Here is the part most people never learn. 80% of the signals on the vagus nerve travel upward, from your gut to your brain, not the other way around. Your gut is not just responding to your brain, it is continuously informing it. The strength of that signal, scientists call it vagal tone, naturally declines with age. When vagal tone is low, memory formation suffers. Emotional regulation suffers, sleep quality suffers, even heart rate regulation is affected. The 5 foods we just covered each reduce the gut inflammation that weakens this signal. They protect the highway. But research also shows there are 3 specific daily habits, none of which involve food at all, that directly strengthen vagal tone. Things that take under 5 minutes each. Things you can start tomorrow. One of them has been used in cardiac medicine for decades. Cardiologists have known about it for years. But almost no one outside that specialty knows it also directly improves memory function. That is the next video. But before you go, I need to answer the question I know you are holding. Because every time I cover this research, someone asks it. Is it too late for me? I hear it every week. From people who have been told for years that what they are experiencing is just aging. Just the way it is, nothing to be done. So let me tell you what the Stanford researchers said directly. They wrote that their findings suggest memory decline in aging is not a fixed, purely brain-driven trajectory, and that restoring the gut-brain communication pathway can improve memory formation. Quote, even in significantly aged subjects. Sit with that for a moment. This is not a motivational poster. This is a peer-reviewed conclusion from Stanford University published in Nature. They are saying, with data, that the direction can change. Not just slow down, change direction. And the tools you need are not a prescription. They are not a specialist. They are not expensive. They are in a grocery store. So here is your one action for today. Tonight, just tonight, eat 2 tablespoons of plain yogurt with live active. Cultures before bed. That is it. That is your first step. Write it on a sticky note. Put it on the fridge. 2 tablespoons. Not because it fixes everything, but because it begins the shift. And the shift is the whole point. You are not behind. You are not too far gone. You are someone who just learned something most people never find out. And that changes everything. Quick recap before you go. Food 1, fermented foods. Rebuild the diversity of your gut bacteria. Food 2, dark leafy greens. Feed your good bacteria and support the nutrients most associated with slower cognitive decline. Food 3, quercetin foods. Apple skin, red onions, capers. Support your body's natural response to cellular inflammation. Food 4, green tea. Activate cellular cleanup and reduce inflammatory output. Food 5, extra virgin olive oil. Anti-inflammatory foundation. Supports the gut lining and the gut-brain axis. 5 foods. 1 goal. Fix the gut, protect the signal, preserve the memory. Next video, the vagus nerve habits. 3 of them, 5 minutes a day, including the one from cardiac medicine that doubles as a memory tool. That video goes up this week. If you want to see it when it drops, there is a subscribe button just below this video. And if you know someone over 60 who has been brushing off their memory lapses as just getting old, please share this with them. The research says otherwise, and they deserve to know. Always speak with your doctor before making changes to your diet or health routine. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.